reference or for anything like that. Just go there. All right, so here,
Come here, Raj. Come on.
do you have, is this like one of those bungee leashes? Yeah.
Yeah. Come on. It's okay, Raj. Calm down. You can get this.
And see, hold him still. That's the one he has. So when we fit this, we want this fit as snug as
This right here
possible.
behind his ear.
I want a little bit more here. Just trying not to encroach in this personal space too much. All right, so since he's got thick fur, I
And
have this
extra
fit
skin. He's got a lot of extra skin.
as snug as possible. If you have nail polish, we're gonna see how he does today with this, okay? When you go home, leave this on. Take your nail polish, put a strip right there. Okay, to mark it so you know you have the same spot, okay? Take a leash here. All right, so what we want to do today is a couple of things. We want to condition Raja, correct? All right, JD?
Yeah.
Yep. What this is, because he has no idea. The other thing is, something simple, set this way, snow or rain, whatever, over the next week, you're not to worry about that stuff, okay? Does Raja have like a bed or a towel or anything like that?
He sleeps on the carpets, but he has a bed.
He has a bed?
And he has a blanket in his crate.
Okay, cool. So you can use his bed, okay? So we have here an elevated dog bed. You're gonna do the same thing at home using your own dog bed. You're gonna have to introduce it to him just like we're gonna do today. It's not gonna just transfer from here to there, okay? So real quick, what we wanna do is find Raja's perception level. This is what he feels. Contraction means you have contact, okay? Contraction doesn't mean you have the right number. You want contact plus a bit more from him. Most trainers will tell you, like, you know, just like kind of like looking around. I want a little bit more. I want kind of a bigger movement that tells me, hey, what I feel is a little bit concerning, but not too concerning, okay? So here we're at 15. When you hear me say tap, I'm pressing the button. So if I say tap,
Which
tap,
one? Which
tap,
button is it?
the bumpy one, right
Okay.
here, yeah. When you hear me say tap, I'm pressing it. If I say tap, 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 that's my rhythm, okay? So we're at 15, tap, 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 no response. 20, tap, 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 no response. 25, tap, 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 no response. And this is normal, by the way. 30, tap, tap, yeah, tap, tap. 35, tap, 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 tap. So I'm watching right where the box is, okay? 40, tap, tap, tap. 45, tap. There, see it? Tap,
See what?
tap. Right by his shoulder, you see it? Watch,
Yeah, okay.
that twitch, okay? That's 45 out of 127, okay? So you see how it's not really phasing him?
Yeah.
It's real subtle, right? So I'm gonna go a little bit more, I'm gonna go to 50. Tap, tap,
Oh, yeah.
tap, tap, okay? 55,
Face move.
tap. Right there. So you see
What was that, 55?
55. 45 and 50 took multiple taps before I got a response. One tap at 55 got him to stand up from a down, okay? So that's what I was talking about. I want contraction plus movement, but a little bit more than just a real subtlety, okay? So 55, tap, 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 tap,
He's probably
Tap.
scared of that.
tap, tap,
Come
tap,
on, Raja.
tap, tap. And you want to get a regular leash too, tap. These bungee ones,
Go
tap,
up.
tap. Work more to the dog's advantage, tap. And you don't want to talk to him, tap. 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 Tap.
Really?
Almost. Tap. Almost. Attaboy. Good. Tap. Good. tap, 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 tap. Good. Right there. Okay. So as soon as all of Raja is on the bed, I stop the pressure. Okay. So I'm not saying anything right now. I'm not saying place. I'm not saying go to bed or anything like that. Because I want him to learn with this. Everybody goes, Jesse, just tell a dog to go to
He's
bed.
breaking my heart
Yes.
right now. I want to cry.
But the reason you don't want to is you know what go to your bed means. He doesn't. He never will. By definition. He associates what go to your bed means, right? So first we're teaching the association. Right now Raja is learning when this kicks in, if I go here and I'm completely on it, it turns off, okay? So it's a very simple concept that I want you guys to remember because it's super important with the training. Pressure on when we need the dog to do something, pressure off once the dog complies, okay? And every time we teach something new, it's gonna be the same concept. And as we go about it, it's going to just make more sense as we go along, and it's going to make more sense for him because it's the same concept each time. When he feels this, he knows he's supposed to do something. He just has to figure out what it is. Okay. So
is there a point when you stop that you stop? Like if he's like, or do you just keep tap?
Once he's
tap, tap. Like if it took him 10 minutes to get on that bed,
I
would
keep
you
it on
tap for 10 minutes?
until he does it.
Does it hurt him?
No.
I mean, is it?
you could feel it, right? And I suggest you go home and feel this. The higher we go, the more uncomfortable it becomes. But you have to also account that at 55, right, which is a half, almost half, he's got fur.
Right.
He's not feeling the full power quite yet, okay?
Right.
So, and right now, he's not thinking this is permanent, right? I'm just right now conditioning tap, 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 tap. I'm conditioning him to recognize this. This is completely foreign to him, right? So the more tap, the more mistakes he makes, and I'm able to clarify for him that this is a communicator, he'll start to become more sensitive to it ideally. Okay, every dog is different. When it comes to leash walking stuff, and there's more stimulus outside, right? You're gonna have to now make yourself more important than the stimulus. Your number may be higher. It may be 35, like we don't know yet. That's why we have to find the perception level first before we do anything else, okay? So before trying to train him, I stood there, took a couple of minutes, 55, and then I started the training, okay? Break. When I say break, break means his job is done. He is free to move. So if he's in a sit command, break means you're done. If he's on a heel command, break means you're done, so on and so forth. Tip. Tip.
Is this normal for like the first day with dogs, for them to be like weirded out by the bed or?
Yeah. Well, most dogs aren't scared of the bed, but he's a nervous dog. Like earlier.
He is. I think it's from
Tap.
what he
Tap. Tap.
thinks traumatized
Tap.
from his pet.
Tap. Tap. There we go. Good. See how it's getting easier? Tap. 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 Right there. So I'm not telling him to stay. He doesn't know what stay means anyways. I'm teaching the concept of stay. Tap, 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 tap. Because every time he makes a mistake, 60 from 56. Every time he makes a mistake and he hops off, tap, tap, tap. And this pressure kicks on, he's going, oh, if I just stay here, nothing happens. Tap, 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 tap. But if I go there, it turns off, right? So, tap, 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 good. It's all about repetition. I'm gonna bump it a little bit and go to 65 here. Good. And I have a bunch of videos that I'm putting up of other clients and their dogs, and you'll see them, and you can look in comparison at the different personality types. Every dog is different. Most people think a dog is mechanical. You just train them and then you're done. Well, what if the dog's nervous, anxious, fearful, aggressive, right? All those things are factors. Here we have a nervous dog. You can see by his movements, right? And you said if somebody comes and approaches you, like he kind of tucks. Yes, right? That's all nervous energy. So if you are soft because he's nervous, you reinforce nervousness, okay? Because you're coddling him. Another dog does not care. If he's playing with another dog and he steps out of line, that dog doesn't go, well, I should correct you, but since you're nervous, I'm not going to. They don't think that way. They just correct, okay? There are no exceptions, right? So I do the same thing. If I have a nervous dog and if I need to put 85, okay, in order to get them to do something, tap. I go to 85, tap. Whether they're insecure, scared, or what have you, I go to the number appropriate, but the reason he's not being taken off guard is because I'm gradually increasing it, right? Raja is telling me what's too low and what's too high, okay? And I already know, obviously, because I'm a trainer, what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is ease, okay? This is a very simple concept that dogs learn very quickly, okay? Minutes. And by ease, I mean, if I tap Raja once, and he goes from there to there with one tap at 75, then I go 75 at the moment is the number. If I can get on 12, tap, boom, then 12 is the number. How he performs and how he's responding, like he's not yipping, he's not yelping, he's not rolling in pain, he's doing what I want him to do. So I know that at the moment 65 is the appropriate number. As he gets more conditioned, he may become more sensitive and 65 may become too much. If that's the case, I go down lower. If I go down to 35 and now 35 is too low, then I work my way up because he's somewhere between 65 and 35. Okay, so as you do this, it'll make a lot of sense, right? 65 still. Yep. Good. Thought about it. Good. Now, with the place command, he can sit, stand, lay down. I don't care. Place simply means go to this spot and stay within the spot, okay? If we tell Raja to lay down, if we tell him to lay down, laying down is very specific, right? Like this or whatever, the dog on your side. That's down. Not a sit, not a stand, it's down. With place, it's just simply go here and stay there. So it's easier to do, right? Because like, let's say you're having guests come over, you send him to his place, you don't have to worry about what he's doing. But if you down him and he sits up, you have to correct him because that's not a down position, right? So this is usually, right, a very convenient and like favorite command for a lot of my clients. Tap, because they don't have to do a lot of work, okay? And it's super simple to teach. Just thinking about it. Tap.
I didn't know it was good like that.
It's the exact same stuff.
I'm getting used to it, but I'm
Dog?
like,
Yeah.
every time I see it.
Dogs bite each other. That's what I tell everybody, right? This, even if you max this out on continuous, will never match a dog bite. Ever.
Oh.
Right? He's not gonna just start bleeding, right? He will get punctures. It's a muscle contraction. Does it get very uncomfortable? Yes. But also dogs have a much higher threshold for pain than humans do. So about half a year ago, my Chihuahua, I accidentally dropped him, trying to put him on the bed. He broke his jaw. I didn't know. He was eating his kibble normally, okay, eating treats normally, I didn't know. So about 2 days later, my cousin's like, hey, Poncho doesn't look good. And I was like, what do you mean? And I go and look at him, he's laying on his side, and then I could see his jaw was dislocated. It was hanging. And I was like, holy crap. So I ran him straight to the emergency room, right? And I was like, I think there's something wrong with his jaw. And the next ray, it cracked right in half right here, cracked through a canine. I didn't know. He never showed any signs of pain. His behavior was normal. He was eating kibble and treats, like hard stuff. You know, so he's only 8 pounds, yet he masked all that pain for 2 days.
Yeah.
Like, that's dogs, right? So when people see like the muscle contractions and stuff like that, I get it, you know, but he tells you it's too much. If you see him writhing in pain, then yes, of course, go down. You're too high.
Right.
65. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Okay. It's very simple. Questions so far?
I assume you're getting into it, but like how you can put this into, like, how to use this command? or-
Correct. So for this week, because I started doing this more, typically I do leash walking first day. But because of the weather, it being too cold, what I've been doing instead is teaching this so that people can practice in their home first, so they're not outside in the cold trying to train.
Yeah.
Okay, so here, the actual application would be, think of this as building towards the point of, if you want to go to a restaurant patio and have Raja at your feet laying down, this is the foundation, if you will, but it's
You say
easier.
place?
We will at some point,
Okay,
correct.
okay.
Right now, we're just conditioning, right?
Cool, okay.
So it's like, technically, it's place, it's just nonverbal.
Cool.
Okay, the contraction is telling them to go here. So,
Wherever you lead him to and kind of suggest.
correct.
the place,
So like, this is dog bed at home, you'd have it set down, put him on a leash, get him colored up, find the number first, and then once you find it, you would start tapping. The little bit of leash pressure, because if you look at how much, anytime he went that way, all I did was this, enough to direct him, but I didn't drag him
Right.
over here, other than the first time, because you're so apprehensive,
Yeah.
right? The more physical you use, the more that becomes a part of the command, right? So a lot of trainers, when they do this, will walk with their dog all the way here, okay? But then it's always that. I hate that stuff. I want to be able to be like in the kitchen, Raja, place. Boom.
Yeah.
He just goes, right? And the way we get there is simply this. Instead of me walking him all the way, I just start, he goes
Yeah.
from here. It's a short distance. It's not that hard, right? In the beginning, I needed some help, right? But now it's, okay, boom, then I can go boom, boom, and then further and further back. So if you want it to be to that degree, you do have to do the homework.
Right.
If you don't care about that degree and all you want is Raja place and he goes and stays there for 2 hours, then you practice to that, right? You practice to the point that you're wanting. Everybody has different goals with their dogs, right?
Yeah.
And so here, in terms of application, if you have friends coming over, maybe if you're eating dinner or if you're watching a movie, Raja likes to be like in your space and you just want to have your own space, go there, don't move while we watch Netflix for the next 3 hours, type of thing. Okay, and it's super easy because there's 2 aspects to this command. There's the send, which I'm teaching, right? And then there's the don't move from there part of it. Okay, and you can work on those at the same time. So this exercise here, I'm gonna have you guys work with him. If you each did a 3 to 5 minute session, that's it, a piece of this. Send, break, walk around, tap, send, right? For 3 to 5 minutes, you're good. All you're trying to do is make it easier for Raja to learn and interpret this, okay? The next thing is, okay, cool, we did a 3 to 5 minute session. Oh, do you want to watch a movie? Sure, pop on a movie. Okay, Raja, he goes to his bed. You step on the leash and you just watch a movie for the next 2 hours. He tries to get up 30 minutes later. He can't go anywhere because I'm stepping on the leash. I start promoting him. If he's confused, I use a little bit of tension to direct him. He goes back, I go back to watching the movie. 15 minutes goes by, he gets bored again. Tries to get off, tap. He gets up, or he gets back on. I don't even need to touch the leash, right? That's the first stage. Okay, I make things super easy. A lot of people will tell the dog to go to the place here, and they'll already first day be like in a different room. And then they're like, Jesse, I have to walk my dog back to the bed 20 times. I'm like, yeah, because we just learned this, a day ago.
Yeah.
So I say, make it easy. If the bed's right here, I step on the leash, and then I'm sitting on the couch, for 4 hours, 5 hours. Like, you can have him here as long as you want. You know the level of control you're looking for. If you're wanting more control, you have to practice higher or longer durations of work. Because if you're always doing 15 to 30 minutes, then 15 to 30 minutes is not a problem. And And then if you try to take them to a friend's house and expect them to be there for 2 hours, good luck.
Yeah.
Because you've not done that kind of length of time.
Right.
So when we do our boarding trains, they're doing this for hours a day. So that when they go back to the client, because dogs always regress to some degree, if they've done 6 hours here, 1 to 2 hours in the home is easy peasy. You know, so we're not worried about the regression in that sense. So day one, we always teach this, and then we go, we put them on the floor in the bed, get a leash, clip them to a leash, and we're working with other dogs. So there's like a column, and they're clipped to that leash. So if I'm working with this dog in training, and I see this dog make them start to get off, I just tap them, they hop back on, and they keep working. You know, so it's like a cheat, if you will.
Right.
Yep. So for my clients though, not everybody has something like that. So I tell them first start off with the dog beside you, stepping on the leash, and then anytime the dog makes a mistake, you use this to get them to go back for whatever length of time you determine. Questions? Is this making sense? Okay, break. We'll do a couple more, and since he's rested for a bit, I'm actually gonna go down. We'll go down to 50 here. Tip, 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 good. See how there's no tension there? So you 3 tap, boom, boom, and boom. Here he is. Break. Yeah, we'll wait. We might get he's gonna assume here, we're gonna wait.
Yeah, totally assuming you need to
Yeah,
get on
1
that.
sec. Yeah. See how big that movement was? I'm going down to 25.
So does he get a chance to like, to do that before?
Yes and no. Okay? Once we start to issue the
Right,
word,
'cause I feel like you stopped him for a minute, and then all of a sudden, like, he didn't get any indication that he was able to go,
Yeah.
other than the boom.
yeah, that's the indicator. Okay? Because you're thinking like a human. You're thinking, and this is how most people think, is they want to give their dog every opportunity to avoid the remote. I use every opportunity to use the remote. Okay? So once we start to layer in the word place, right? Technically, that's the warning. Place, or this kicks in if you don't get there fast enough. Does that make sense? Right now, we're not saying place. There is no precursor, there's no indicator, there's no warning other than this, right? So it seems unfair
Yeah.
to the human. But even if I said place, again, he doesn't know what place is. I could say fridge and make this be called fridge. You see what I'm saying?
But what if, like, you give him a little,
Because do you want an off-leash trained dog?
eventually?
This. Okay? Because remember what I said earlier? The more you use the leash, the more it becomes a part of the training, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to use this more? Because when he's off the leash, the only thing you're going to have is this, right? Everybody's first instinct when their dog runs away is to chase them and try to grab them, okay? And even my clients, like I had one client, we were about 7 to 8 sessions into a 9-week program, and we're doing the long leash stuff. And his dog took off after another dog, right? And he's like, he got rope burn because he grabbed the leash and it ripped right through his hand. And he showed it was bad. And my first thing was like, why don't you use a remote? And then he's like, you know what? I totally panicked, right? Because he was so used to using the leash. This is why I tell everybody, get used to using this, because in the moment of an emergency, my first instinct is always remote. Everybody's first instinct is always leash, right? So if you're so conditioned to jumping to this, if something happens, you're not going to make that mistake because you're so conditioned yourself to just rely on the remote, right? Because that's always the main thing. If you need the leash, he's going to need the leash, and then once it's gone, it's a lose-lose situation, okay? But we will put in a word, okay? And then once we put in that word, it'll start to make a lot more sense, right? So because he had a bigger jump there on that 50, 25, okay? Because I could recognize he's feeling the full power of the 50, okay? The reason I'm putting the brakes on him here is because he is assuming, but I don't want him to go just to go and avoid this. I want him to go in response to this.
Right.
So 25. Yeah. Yeah. Right there. See? Who wants to go first?
You got it.
Go for it.
Okay.
Put him on 100, okay?
Yeah.
Alright, so it's the bumpy one, okay?
Okay.
When you hear me saying the word tap,
No.
it's on 25. This is your
You
screen.
say, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
This here, to change your number, all you do is turn the dial,
Okay.
okay? And also, just so you know, real quick, and this should come like a user manual.
Yeah, no, I
He
mean,
looked, yeah.
Okay, if this here, if you hit the blue button on the side, it'll turn off the backup light, okay? If you hit the blue button again, it turns it on so that every time you swivel your numbers, it'll automatically turn the light on. Or if it's at night and you can't see it, you just hit the blue button a couple of times and it'll light up.
can you, is there a setting, I didn't see that in there, where it like locks it so it can't?
No,
Okay.
not on this particular model. There is a brand that does do that, but I've had a lot of issues with that particular
Okay.
brand, okay?
Is this ours?
Yeah.
This is ours? Oh, cool.
Okay, so you're gonna be pressing that bumpy one here.
Okay.
Clockwise goes up, counterclockwise goes down.
Okay.
Okay, if I tell you go to 30 and you land on 32, it's okay.
Okay.
If I say go to 30 and you land on 55, that's a pretty big jump, okay?
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about exactness, because if you're too worried about this and he's like yanking your arm out,
Yeah.
like too much can happen within that time frame, okay? So here you go. So
Okay.
the
So it's on
release,
break?
break means
Break.
he's free to go, okay?
Wow.
And then go just pause right there and relax, okay? And go to short release just a little bit like you were. Oh, right there, that's good. Okay, now relax. Good. And tap. Tap. One step over. Tap. Tap. Hold. Right there. Good.
Good boy.
Okay, go ahead and just walk around him. Yeah, keep walking. So if he does, because he can technically stand up, right? So until tap, 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 grab a little tap. There it is. Good, and relax. Good. If this is all okay, so nothing here, just keep moving. Go ahead and pause right here. Wait a second, and break.
Break.
Yep, and move. Good. And repeat that a few times. Good. And pause for a moment, relax. There we go. And tap, tap, right there. Good. And walk around. Good. So you see how he started to get more comfortable? So he went from, what the hell is this? So I'll show it here for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And it's all because of how we layer in the remote. Most people think e-collar is a punisher, and it absolutely can be a punisher.
If you abuse it or use it wrong, right?
Right. Or you just get the personality type of a dog that just needs a firm, like, hit, right? But I like to use it, look at it as a communicator or a motivator. I can make a dog move more quickly, simply through adjusting the collar, either through speed or through
Right.
intensity. I like to look at it as a motivator. I've had about 2 dogs come through twice as nervous as him. And by the 3rd and 4th class, they're like night and day because of this tool and the way it's being used, okay? Tap, 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 tap. Hold right there, tap. And a little bit of leash pressure, tap, tap, right there. Good. So do you know why that was harder for him?
Maybe because he walked around a little bit, kind of lost him back there.
Well, you started further. You started from here,
Okay.
right? It's a pretty big distance. So then once you got here, I could see that he was gonna get it. That's why I said you hold and use your leash and let him finish the rest, right? Most people would keep kind of baby stepping,
Naturally,
right?
Yeah.
When we do little things like that, you're actually challenging them, right? And you're telling them, figure it out. Even though you're using an aversive for him to figure it out, even if like he was looking really shut down, I worked the dog through it, and then once he figures it out, he goes, oh, that wasn't too bad. I did it. And then we build confidence.
You ready for one more, buddy?
And then pause for a sec. Tap, 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 tap. Right there. Good. And relax and wait a
Almost
second.
had a break.
Yeah, and if you see that happen, right? Like, let's say you're intending to, like, because a lot of people do this.
We always won.
They're gonna break the dog, and the dog itself, they're like, well, I'm gonna break them anyways. I was like, no. Always,
He did that his own
yes.
time.
Yeah.
Always when you say so, okay? Because then you'll create inconsistent obedience, and then you're working against yourself.
Man, chill. Get comfortable. Try.
Yeah, keep moving, the left arm. There you go, and then pause right there. Just wait a moment. And break.
Break.
Okay, we're gonna do one more, and then we'll swap handlers.
Come on, I'll make it easier than this time, buddy. Let's go in there.
Good, and then pause. And when you're ready. There he goes.
Oh, can I pet him? Good boy. At first, you ready? Come on.
Yep, just be normal. And tap, 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 tap. Good.
That's cool.
Mhm.
I see that.
Good. Break, break. Yep, and pull, break. There you go, good.
Break, break. Tap it. Take more space.
Tap, 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 good. And go ahead and pause right there, okay? Tap. Tap. Okay.
Did he went
Sorry,
down?
let that lay down, right? So, I'm just advancing a little bit here for you, okay? When we do place command, it's not just about the command itself, it's about state of mind, okay? Now, as you learn more stuff, more obedience, if you send Raj out of place and you tell him to down verbally, it is a down command, not a place command, right? Because the new command overrides the old command.
Okay.
Okay, so he would have to stay in that position even though he's on place because you said down. Does that make sense? Okay. Here, let's say Raja is on place. You come home, he's super excited, right? And he can't leave this, right? So you would tap him to settle him down. And if he still seemed like he had a lot of energy, you would just tap, tap. And what you're communicating there is relax. Calm down, exactly. So when he was in that sitting position, I knew he was going to lay down with just a couple of taps. That's why I had to do it, to give you a visual of how much communication you have despite the fact that we're not saying anything.
Yeah.
It's just learning and understanding how the remote works, how dogs think, and how physical contact works. You know, that's outside of the obedience realm, okay? Because we have a nervous dog. We're going to make shifts between behavior and obedience, regardless. Like, there's no avoiding it. Because when you're training a nervous dog and training a dog that's not nervous, is very different,
Yeah.
okay? So my job is to get them trained, right? And me to train you, how do you handle a dog that's nervous? Because we can't make him unnervous. You can simply teach him how to handle it in a better, healthier way. Does this all make sense?
Yes.
Okay, let's go to zone break. 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 Yeah, you see how he carries himself here. You see that? Tap. Tap. There he goes. Good.
Now, is he gonna associate needing to lay down after not after that one tap, but
No, like, you know, so if he lays down, this is him just going, you know what, I'm gonna just relax, right?
Yeah.
The other one, He most likely would have laid down on his own if he waited long enough.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to do it more on our terms, right? So if you send Raja to place at home, again, we don't care what he does, but if he's looking very stimulated or excited, he would, if you leave him in that state, he would be more inclined to hop off, right? So if you remoted him, the intention is to remote him to calm him down and relax him, which looks like a down, but it's not a down, it's a relaxed state, okay? Let's go and do a couple more. Break, break.
He's not doing mine.
Right there. Good. We'll do one more. Break, break, break. Yeah, good. Yep. Very good.
Don't want to do that.
So I'll take leash here. All right, so you see how much easier it is now, okay? So now, I'm gonna go by his response. Within a couple of days, he should be ready for the word. So I'm gonna teach you how we layer in the word, okay? It's very simple. Everything stays the same, except that we say the word place prior to this kicking in. You never want to repeat a command. Do not say place, 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 and then start remoting him, because now you're going to create a delay. Okay?
One chance.
Yes. One chance, and this immediately kicks in. What you want Raja to learn is when I say this word, this kicks in like that, super fast. And if you want to beat this, move very quickly. This is how we make this a motivator. Most people make it a punisher by delaying and going, now I'm going to make you do it, right? It's the worst way to train. The other thing is, if we apply that delay to a command like the come, he's chasing a squirrel, Raja come, and you've created a 3-command delay before the remote kicks in. Now he has seconds, and if he's running towards the street, that delay could cost him his life because he will be in the street by that time. You see that? So with all of our commands, the heal, the sit, the down, place, stay, come, all that stuff, it's command, remote, immediately.
So it's place,
Correct. Place, boom. Okay, so then he
and then
thinks,
just keep boom, boom, boom until he goes.
he goes, correct. Now,
Help
if
him a
we,
little bit right now, how we've been doing.
because he's still
that.
learning, correct, but as we advance with this and he starts to associate and really not just understand, but really get a good concept of the word itself, then I can start tuning it up a little bit, right? Because if it's like place and he goes, okay, and he's going, right? But it's just kind of like this real mopey kind of send, I want urgency, okay? Because if it's not urgent, it's not important. If it's not important, he's not going to do it, okay? So that's the other thing that we're thinking about. So typically with off-leash programs, right, the first 6 classes is all on-leash stuff, okay? We do cover recall, and I always build recall to be off-leash reliable, because what's the point of having it if it's not off-leash reliable, right? Then the second 6 weeks is conditioning the dog to be off-leash reliable and teaching the owner this is how you use your off-leash obedience. That's typically how the program works, right?
Yeah.
So right here, until he has a really good association, expect to have this on him. It may be a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks,
The
I don't
leash?
know, correct. Because you need something to guide him. If you're in the home and you think like, oh, he did great, let's try it without the leash, he has more options now. And he goes, huh, you don't have that leash anymore? Sure, I'm gonna run away. Even though he's in the house, he's gonna try everything but going to the place, right? So if you do that, you're just making a headache for yourself. You want to condition with the leash as much as possible in the beginning, so he thinks there is no other option but to go to the bed.
I didn't know we
Break. Okay, so now, come on, bud. If we see this happen, right? I say break and he delays, which he was doing a lot with you. He's technically not doing anything wrong, because break means your job is done. So technically, he could choose to stay there, right? If we're doing repetitive, repeated commands, like the send to the release, I just keep moving and pull the leash. If the dog is super resistant, I'll go in and put a tap behind them just to get them moving. But typically, you don't want to put remote behind the break. Okay? So like, let's say you practice with him for a bit, and then at the very end, he's laying there, you go break, and he goes, all right, well, I'm gonna stay here. That's perfectly fine. He can get up whenever he pleases, okay? So now I'm gonna layer in the word. I'm gonna go into say place. Roger, place. Good. Move around a little bit. Break. Attaboy.
Oh, I'm gonna love on him so much today.
Roger, place. Did you see that?
You tap?
No, well, I said Raja place, and right away,
Yeah.
he started responding. I still have to tap, right? But he started responding as soon as he heard the cue. So he's already associating those words mean something.
Did you turn it down or up?
I turned it up, because I'm looking for a little bit more speed right now. That's just the trainer in me.
For sure, yeah. Just wondering.
Yeah, I'm at 35. Raja, place. Boom. That's one tap.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, boy. Break. Roger. Place. Good. And one more, buddy. Break.
Cool.
He's like, I keep getting comfortable. He keeps sending me to the stupid bed.
But I don't even like.
Roger. Place. Right there. Okay. Just cutting him so. Good. Okay. Questions?
In terms of like making a specific place, like if you want him to go in front of that door, is it leading him over there? Like,
Place has to be,
One place.
not one place, it has to be an object. A towel, a blanket, a rug, a mat,
Okay.
dog bed.
That he already knows is his, like something that's
It
his.
could be anything.
Okay.
You can go to the store right now, pick up something you've never seen before. You just have to teach it to him first, right?
Okay.
And you can have multiple places. You can have one.
so how does he know which one if there's multiple? Like,
So if you have more, if we had this one and one over there, we'd have to point.
okay,
We have to direct, right? If you have one in one room, one in the bedroom, in the living room, in the kitchen, in the dining room, he would associate place to what's in that room.
okay,
Okay. So place isn't like go to like that corner. Like I guess technically a dog could recognize this, but then it's like, well, where does the perimeter end?
Right.
Right? That's why this is much easier because this is he can see it. Okay. So your homework for this week, this exercise, 3 to 5 minutes a day each. Okay. If you can do more, perfect. I'm gonna have you lay off the word for a couple of days. If you're in your home and you go tap, boom, and he's just shooting there, then I go, cool, he's got a really good association, place, tap, boom. Because you want to create a very consistent sequence. If he's still learning and pulling all over the place, and you say place, like minutes goes by and he's just like doing all this stuff before he actually goes there, then place becomes, spaz out for a couple of minutes, right? I want place to be immediate. So we always condition first, and then we layer in the word after, okay? Duration work. You can start this tonight. You can go home right away, move his bed, do a couple of sends so he recognizes it, step on the leash, and then hang out for a couple of hours, okay? If he tries to get off, don't say no, don't say stay, don't say no words, just remote. Help him with the leash if you need to. He hops back on, you keep watching. Once you're done, break, take off everything, he's good to go, okay? Keep it near you all the time for now, okay? Don't try to leave him, right? Phase 1 is always,
keep him near us?
yes,
Okay.
when you're doing this. make it
We're
easy,
trying,
yeah, make it easy. We're gonna build it to go over there and leave us alone, but if you do that now, you're gonna have to get up 20 times and walk, 10 feet to
Yeah.
put them, it's gonna be annoying, right? So get all the foundation work in now. There is no limit to how much you do duration. You could do 3 hours for all that care, okay? Because it's not redundant. When we do repetitive or redundant things like what we did today, I keep it really short because it's for lack of better words, it's stupid, right?
Yeah.
It's like, have someone telling you to stand up and sit down, stand up and sit down. Like you would be like, the hell, right? Same thing for the dog, right? But we have to do it to teach them, so it's part of the process. So I keep it short, a couple times a day. But then if you just send them, you can keep them there for as long as you want, okay? You can do 15 minutes tonight, you can do 2 hours tomorrow, 30 minutes the next day, an hour the next day, 10 minutes the next day.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be always consistent, but definitely start pushing it, okay? Other questions?
Just for the next week, in terms of walking him,
Mhm.
do you have any quick tips on just him pulling?
I would get rid of that leash. Get a regular leash.
Okay.
That bungee leash, did you get it to like ease the like when I was trying to guide him, it was working
But
against us.
he normally had it with the shock collar, he just got that collar, or
Mhm.
not the
The
shock
prong
collar,
collar.
the prong collar,
Mhm.
and so we thought that was better with that,
Sure.
but,
Yeah. So for now, just go to your prong collar with the regular leash. You can have him wearing this. Do not use it. Just so he starts
Okay,
getting
that's
used
why
to
I
wearing
had
it.
it,
Yeah.
Okay.
Never clip the leash to the e-collar. Always to his other collar. Okay. And this can be used in conjunction with the prong collar safely. But in the beginning, I don't like to use them together.
Yeah.
Because I want to know that this is doing all my work, okay? I'm not saying that we won't pair them together, but I like to remember like just everything with this, because if he's off leash, prong collar doesn't make a difference anyways,
right.
okay? So, here you go. We apologize again for the inconvenience, this one's on us.
No, that's fine, thank you so much for that.
Um,
Next